Both of you gentlemen are charged with racing on a highway. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, gentlemen.
Would you like to start with, Judge?
I guess let's Lopez.
Lopez? Yes, Judge.
Alphabetically.
On December 22nd, officers conducted a traffic stop on the defendant's vehicle at the 17,000 block of Gulf Freeway. The officers were acting in an undercover capacity as they were conducting surveillance on a car group known to conduct illegal street races. The officer observed 3 motor vehicles begin to slow down, match speed, and pace. The 3 motor vehicles slowed down to approximately 50 miles per hour before accelerating to speeds in excess of 100 miles per hour in a competitive manner. The defendant was the driver and sole occupant of one of the motor vehicles. The defendant was in possession of a 19mm handgun, which was located on the floorboard of the driver's seat at the time of the stop, and the co-defendant, who was driving one of the other motor vehicles, was also taken into custody.
Who's the co-defendant in that?
The co-defendant is a Jabari McCall. Let me see if he's in our.
Is
He
that
was driving one of the other motor vehicles.
In his
Sure.
case, is in court 15, Your Honor.
that's in court 15. What is the cause number on that one?
Cause number is 254-4343.
So these need to go 15.
Correct. That one goes to 15. Right.
These will go to 15.
Well, Mr. Lopez, let's talk about Mr. Ruiz.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Lopez, I am going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Does he have a Texas driver license?
Let me see, Judge. He's eligible, Your Honor.
Do you have liability insurance in your name?
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you now, if I find that you do this again, I will, number one, take your ability to drive away from you until this case is over with. And I'm going to tell you, living in a city as big as Houston without the ability to drive blows. It's awful. Trust me. If I find that this happens again, likewise, I will put you in jail and make your bond sky high. 610, 59, no place for racing. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Not only that, the Texas legislature has made it extremely easy for DAs across the country to take seized cars from individuals who participate in these types of acts. 2 weeks ago, we had someone here who had their $100,000 car seized by the district attorney's office for participating in this act. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Ruiz.
On December 20th, 2024, the officer was part of a traffic crimes task force and was near the location where a large group was meeting at Alameda Mall in Harris County, Texas. The officer began following the racing group going southbound and observed the defendant and co-defendant's motor vehicles traveling in lanes 1 and 2 side by side, saw the 2 vehicles slow down to approximately 40 miles per hour and then launch an acceleration at the same time in a competitive nature in order to outdistance each other at speeds of upwards of 110 to 120 miles per hour. A traffic stop was initiated and the officer made contact with the defendant.
Mr. Ruiz, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case as well. Tell me, does he have a co-defendant in this case as well?
Yes, Your Honor, and I'm pulling up the co-defendant's case.
It's in court 7.
Court 7, Your Honor.
It should- that one should-
What's the cause number?
The cause number is 254-4176.
Okay, so this one stays here. Mr. Ruiz, at 120 miles an hour, I am now taking away your privilege to drive. You are not allowed to drive whatsoever. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
You will be signing an affidavit with me, promising me that you're not going to drive, and I don't give a rat's behind what your excuse is. I don't care if there's a burning building and 50 children need to be saving. You get into a car and drive. I can have a contempt hearing, and you can be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you get into a car and drive. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Until I know that he absolutely appreciates the privilege, the awesome privilege it is to drive. You are not allowed to drive for any reason. Come back, show me some proactivity, show me the appreciation, and then if you come back in 2 weeks, it's just not enough time. But I want to see, something that shows me that you appreciate it. But for now, if I find that you drive, I'm going to light you up like a Christmas tree. Do you understand?
Your Honor.
Both of you have lawyers, so we will waive your appearances, but it is your responsibility to stay in touch with Mr. Clay, and he will tell you when you have to come back to court. If he comes back to me and tells me he can't get a hold of you because you're playing games, then I will revoke your bond. Neither of you will get a PR bond if you become a danger to my community, pick up new cases. Are you both United States citizens?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Mr. Clay, they go with you. Sir.
Judge, I'm putting the training.
Good morning, Miss Arrington. Ma'am, you're charged with criminal trespass. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
Yes, Judge. On December 21st, 2024, officers were dispatched to a tracked motor vehicle at a tow lot in Harris County, Texas. The officer made contact with the defendant, who stated her car was stolen that morning from her job, the prison in Huntsville, and that no way her car was repossessed because she paid her bills and that she was not exiting the motor vehicle, and the complainant needed to open the gate so she could leave. The defendant stated she was not trespassing because her motor vehicle was in the tow lot, she did not care about going to jail, and she was not leaving. The defendant further stated to call the DA. The defendant refused to exit the motor vehicle and the lot. The officer made contact with the complainant, the owner of the lot, who stated he had been looking for the defendant to repossess her vehicle. The complainant stated he wanted the defendant out of the tow lot. The defendant took the GPS out of the vehicle, and the vehicle was repossessed from Huntsville. The complainant further stated the defendant was past due on payments. The complainant stated he has proof of everything, including his possession request, and did not know how the defendant got into the tow lot as no one opened the gate for the defendant. The officer observed the defendant sitting in the repossessed vehicle, and the defendant stated she did not know how she got in, and the gate was observed to be locked. The defendant told another officer that a Hispanic male allowed her into the lot, but the defendant could not confirm whether a male was, and the complainant stated no Hispanic male opened the lot for the defendant. The officer asked the defendant multiple times to exit the motor vehicle and the lot, to which the defendant refused.
Stop.
Yes, sir. That's not true.
You have the right to remain silent.
Yes, sir.
Exercise that right. I've got
Yes,
a
sir.
bunch of DAs here. Everything that you say, they're going to sit there, type it, and they're going to use it to prove guilt.
Yes, sir.
You will get the opportunity to, fight the case.
Yes, sir.
Now's not the time.
Okay.
Bottom line is you need a lawyer to represent you in this case, right? Do you work?
I work as a correctional officer, sir. I actually help with INS cases and sending ICE
And
defendants out.
how much money do you make how much money do you make a month?
Probably without taxes being taken out. Probably like 4,000.
We're going to give you time to hire a lawyer. Okay, so what I'll have you do,
I'm actually off work right now. I can't work because of this case.
what
I work for the state.
does that mean?
That means that I can't go back to work. I'm not able to go back to work because of this case.
Did you get suspended?
Well, just depending on what happened today at court, you're not supposed to go to jail or do anything, being what type of job I have.
Did they tell you that not to come back?
Yes, I cannot come back until they figure out what's going on with my case.
Okay.
So this is how,
You want to apply for an appointed lawyer, man?
yes, sir.
Okay. Let me see if I have one. No? Okay, so Ms. Arrington, I'll give you an application. I need to take a look at it. And then if you qualify, I'll appoint your lawyer today. Understand things don't just work overnight. It takes time to get evidence, takes time for stuff to come in. They have to contact the other people. So it may take some time. It's not just Rome wasn't built overnight, as the saying goes. So just be patient, and everything will work out. Okay. Of course. So I'll have you sign, I'll have you sign a reset with Ramona. We'll give you an application. Take a seat here in the juror box, fill it out, and I'll take a look. Well, thank you, Ms. Arrington. Morning, Mr. Glover. Mr. Glover, you're charged with burglary of a motor vehicle. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. You're on bond for a burglary of a motor vehicle, and now you've picked up a new case. Okay, stop. You were on bond for a burglary of a motor vehicle, and now you've picked up an assault of a family member. You're now facing a year on that one as well. We're going to do probable cause on both of your cases. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you.
Yes, Judge. On the burglary, the officers were dispatched to a burglary call at a residence in Harris County, Texas. The complainant told the officers that items were missing from his work truck, which was parked in front of his house. The complainant had cameras inside and around the truck, which captured the defendant's face. The officers received a tip from Grizzy identifying the defendant and were able to confirm the defendant's identity by viewing the captured surveillance.
Bless Gizzies.
And
Hood news. You guys familiar with the hood news? It's good stuff. So say it again. Nothing.
for the burglary.
No, the assault.
So on the assault case, the complainant and the defendant are in a dating relationship. And on December 20th, 2024, the officers were on patrol at Katy Freeway Service Road and observed the defendant and the complainant. The officer observed the defendant dragging the complainant by her hair towards the sidewalk. After the defendant saw the officer, he let go of the complainant and both began to walk towards the patrol vehicle. The officer detained the defendant and spoke with the complainant. The complainant stated she and the defendant were in an argument and the defendant was following her to get inside his car because she was walking in the road. The complainant did not have visible injuries, but stated she bit her lip and caused it to bleed. The complainant stated she did not feel pain from having her hair pulled. The complainant stated she felt 3 out of 10 pain.
Mr. Glover, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward on your assault case. Tell me about the BMV, please.
On the BMV. So that was the one where they were dispatched to a residence in regard to a BMV call, and the complainant had cameras inside and around the truck, which captured the defendant's face, and he told the officers that items were missing from his work truck, which was parked in front of his house.
So they got him on camera with the home camera.
Yes, Judge.
Was he on bond for our burglary case and then picked up the new case? Do you guys,
Yes, Judge, it seems right now.
did we do conditions and everything?
So it looks like there were conditions on the 15th of December, and the new case was on the 20th of December.
So we had him, we put conditions on him.
Looks like there were conditions.
Looks like there's some basic, Judge.
Judge, he may have been arraigned by the magistrate. I don't know if he ever came before.
Mr. Glover, let me make something extremely clear to you. I'm going to do everything in my power to protect my city at all costs. I don't care who you are, what color you are. If you're a small farm animal, I'm going to protect my city at all costs. You endanger my city, I'm going to light you up so fast you're going to have teeth falling out. Do you understand? You were not to have contact with the complaining witness in this case at all whatsoever. And I'm now sending you for a drug test because I want to know what, if anything, is in your system, and you're to come right back. If you fail to go take the drug test, if you fail to come back, I will revoke both of your bonds and make them sky high. As it stands now, you were given 2 PR bonds in these cases. You pick up a third case. Holy moly. Do you catch my drift? Francis, let's send him right now. You are to come right back. And Francis, I'm going to put a GPS monitor on him on one ankle, and we're going to give him a curfew of 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. That will be on the burglary case.
Do you want them to mirror on both cases, Judge?
Sure. Yeah. No alcohol, no drugs, random testing, and we're sending him now for a test because I want to know what, if anything, is in the system. You know what the expectation in this court is. I have no problems putting people in jail when they're a danger to my public, and I'm going to do it in a heartbeat. You are not to use alcohol. You are not to smoke weed. And I'm telling you now that I'm going to test you again in 45 days. If you continue to use after today, including today, it's going to show up and I'm going to put you in jail. Don't use, don't have contact with the complaining witness in this case, and don't pick up a third case. Do you understand? We're going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. Take a seat for me, and then we'll also get you with free child services.
Okay.
Are you Kayla Cerritos?
Yes.
Ms. Cerritos, you're charged with failure to stop and give information, which is leaving the scene of an accident without exchanging information. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
On December 20th, 2024, the officer was dispatched to a major accident at 6623 Gulf Freeway in Harris County, Texas. The officer learned there were two separate accidents, first at 9301 Gulf Freeway and second at 6623 Gulf Freeway. The complainant stated he was driving his motor vehicle, was stopped at a red light, and the defendant failed to control speed before rear-ending the complainant's motor vehicle. The complainant heard the defendant's tires screeching, and the defendant drove off at a high rate of speed. The complainant followed and chased the defendant's vehicle as the defendant entered and exited the freeway, attempting to get away. The complainant followed the defendant approximately 5 miles, and the defendant lost control and crashed into a home. The damage to the complainant's vehicle was $2,000.
What time of day or night was this? Was middle of the night? Any kind of alcohol?
This was appears at midnight, and there's no allegations of alcohol.
It was midday.
License? Stop.
I apologize. It was at lunchtime, 12:29 p.m.
PM. Okay. Any, a license?
License, Your Honor. It appears the Florida driver's license that's valid.
Have liability insurance in your name, car insurance.
I was driving my mom's car.
I don't care if you were driving Santa's sleigh,
I don't.
then you're not allowed to drive. I'm making that a condition of your bond. Until you have liability insurance in your name, do not drive. Do you understand? I'm making it a condition of your bond. Until you show us that you have liability insurance, then I'll take this off. But until that point, don't drive. It is a condition of your bond. You violate this condition, I may very well revoke your bond and put you in jail. No more PR bonds. I'm going to do everything in my power to protect my city at all costs. Do you understand, Ms. Cerritos? The important thing about insurance, man, is that when you get into an accident, people will tend to come after you. We live in a very litigious society and everybody wants money. When you have car insurance, if you're involved in an accident, the insurance company will protect you and even have lawyers on their side to help you in the event someone tries to come after you. It's not expensive, but it's something that's required by law, and all we want you to do here is follow the law. It's really important. You know, you get into an accident where you create $50,000 worth of damage, someone's got to pay for it. It's got to come out of somewhere. Do you understand? That's why I'm asking you only to follow the law. Do not drive unless you have a valid driver's license and liability insurance in your name. I don't care what car you're driving. I don't care what it is, motorcycle, whatever it may be. Do you understand? All right. Tell me what you do for a living, man.
I'm a registered behavior technician. I work with children that have autism.
And what kind of income do you make a month?
I make $25 an hour, but I haven't been able to work due to the car not just being drivable. So I haven't worked this week, and I probably won't work for a couple weeks.
How are you supporting yourself? Man?
I'm currently living with extended family. We just relocated from Florida.
Okay. Did you want to apply for an appointed lawyer, ma'am?
Yes, please.
Okay. Do you mind giving an application, please? All right. I'm going to have you come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive until you get approval and have liability insurance. I'll have you fill out the application for an appointed lawyer. I'll have you sign a reset with Ramona, and then we'll have you take a seat in the jury box. All right. Mr. Vasquez, you are charged with discharging a firearm in a metropolitan area. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On December 20th, 2024, the officers were conducting surveillance on several vehicles engaged in a parking lot takeover while in an undercover capacity. The officers observed the defendant, who was the passenger in a vehicle that was driving alongside them, roll down the window, stick his hand out with a handgun, and discharge it into the air. The officers advised that they saw the defendant discharge the weapon a total of 6 times. After detaining the defendant, the officers located the firearm under the passenger seat where he was sitting.
Mr. Vasquez, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to be in possession of any weapons, not to use any weapons, not to fire any weapons. Do you understand? If I find that you do, I'm going to put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. What goes up must come down. What happens if it lands on someone's head and kills them? Who gets charged with murder? Think about it. Think before you act. Think before you speak, because you dig yourself into a big hole, your ass ain't getting out. Do you understand? If I find you with a weapon or you pick up a new case, all bets off. Do you mind filing those conditions, please? Mr. Vasquez, you have a lawyer. Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance, but it is your responsibility to stay in touch with counsel. If they tell me that you play games, that you're not responding to phone calls or text messages, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. You pick up a new case or become a danger to my community, I'm going to light you up. Do you understand? Okay, guys. I'm going to have you sign a reset with Ramona. After that, I'm going to have you take a seat in the jury box. I will get your bond conditions. We'll have you sign it. After that, you'll be free to go. Thank you, sir.
What a judgment.
Hi, Sarah. Yeah, come on up.
I have, keeping a gambling place, Magnolia arraignment. MAK.
Mr. Magnolia, come on up. Mr. Magnolia.
So he's charged with keeping a gambling place. This is a first for me.
I've seen a few of these here lately. Maybe somebody new in intake.
See right here. Judge, on that, bond conditions.
Yes, states. Yeah, so he needs to go back to the jury box. All right, you are Tofik Manosia. Sir, you were charged with keeping a gambling place. You were facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On September 19, 2024, Regulatory Enforcement Unit received a tip about illegal activity inside No Name Game Room in Harris County, Texas, namely gambling. Officers initiated an investigation on the same day and was assigned in an undercover capacity. The officer walked into the game room, was able to get a membership with help from a confidential informant, inserted $20 in an amusement redemption machine, then won $22 on a $1 bet, bringing his credit to $34.50. The machine allowed the officer to win more than 10 times the amount of his $1 bet, making it an altered video gambling device. On December 17, 2024, the officer entered in an undercover capacity, walked to an amusement redemption machine, inserted device funds, and observed 3 violations. $30.50 win on a $1 bet, $29 win on a $1 bet, and $57.92 win on a $1 bet. The officer observed the defendant emptying out proceeds from the machines and servicing them. The defendant stated he could cash out the officer's winnings and asked the female to bring out the cash. On December 19, 2024, the officer executed a search warrant and found the defendant once again in care, custody, and control of the game room with a large amount of money in his pockets and device keys. The defendant admitted to being the manager of the game room.
All right. Mr. Manosia, I'm going to find that there's Are you still working there? Is he no longer employed there?
It's closed, Your
They
Honor.
shut it down? Okay. So don't engage in like-kind business and then you'll be fine with us. Just don't run any type of establishment like this. That's the only conditions we're going to put on your bond. Do you understand? You have a lawyer. Sarah will take care of you. I will waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court, but just stay in touch with Sarah and she'll take care of you. I'll have you sign a reset with Ramona. We'll have you take a seat, get your bond condition. We'll sign it and then you'll be free to go. Okay? Thanks, guys. Please. So if you can file
No like behavior.
Right.
Yes, Judge.
no gambling.
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Thomas, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On December 21st, 2024, at approximately 1:30 a.m., the officers were dispatched in reference to a one-vehicle collision. Upon arrival, the officer observed the defendant's motor vehicle with major rear end damage and debris all over the vehicle from having collided into an apartment complex. Upon contact with the defendant, both officers and a witness observed the defendant with slurred speech, strong odor of an alcoholic beverage, and red, bloodshot eyes. The officer also observed the defendant to be disoriented and stumbling. While on scene, the defendant became physically combative, belligerent, and aggressive with the officers and attempted to kick the passenger door and headbutt the officer. During the altercation, the defendant grabbed the officer's right forearm and scratched him, breaking skin and causing him to bleed and feel pain. The officers made contact with the defendant's front passenger, his wife, who advised they were coming from a party where the defendant drank. And as the defendant was reversing his vehicle, he crashed into two garages and then fled the scene to continue looking for parking. The officers did not request standard field sobriety tests since the defendant was being combative and for officer safety. A blood warrant was signed and executed.
You look to see if he has any prior DWIs, please. Mr. Thomas, and then license.
Eligible, Your Honor.
Mr. Thomas, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're using illegal drugs or alcohol, put you in jail, no more PR bonds for you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
If you don't have Texas, or if you don't have liability insurance in your name, then you're also not allowed to drive, and that's a bond condition of yours as well. Do you understand?
Sir.
You have a lawyer. They will take care of you. It's your responsibility to stay in touch with them. If they tell me they can't get a hold of you, likewise, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. Don't become a danger to my son, to my city. Otherwise, I only have one place for you. Do you understand? All right. I'll have you sign a reset with Ramona. You'll get with Francis for your bond conditions, and then you guys are free to go.
Thank you very much. Your Honor.
Please.
Yes, sir.
You are Manuel Suarez.
Yes.
Mr. Suarez, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. And ma'am, you are Ms. Silva. You're charged with prostitution. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. And we're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. If you cannot afford a lawyer will be appointed to represent you, ma'am. Okay, let's start with Suarez.
Yes, Judge. On December 20th, 2024, at approximately 4:38 a.m., the officer was dispatched to a stranded vehicle at the 11700 block of South Sam Houston Tollway. Upon arrival, the officer observed the defendant to be asleep behind the wheel of the car with gear shift in drive position and foot on the brake. There was an open container half filled with an alcoholic beverage, and the officer observed the defendant with glassy eyes and unsteady balance. Standard field sobriety tests were conducted, 6 out of 6 on the HGN, 2 out of 8 on the walk and turn, and 3 out of 4 on the one-leg stand. The DIC was read and the defendant consented to breath. The results were 0.142 and 0.145.
Mr. Suarez, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I would hope that you would recognize it's elementary that you're not supposed to have alcohol in the car while you are driving. It is a minimum of 5 days in jail to any sentence that you get when they allege that you have alcohol in the car. I don't know what your immigration status is, but if you're not in this country with permission and you go to jail, immigration will find you. They will put a detainer on you. Do you understand? I'm putting conditions on your bond. You violate these conditions, I will put you in jail so fast your head will be spinning 100 miles an hour. Do not consume alcohol, do not use illegal drugs, and do not drive. Do you understand? If you violate these conditions, I will put you in jail and I'm going to make your bond high. The reason you got out of jail quick because we gave you a PR bond. No more if you become a danger to my community. You understand? I'm going to have you come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive. I'm going to get you to Ramona. We are going to give you a reset, to give you time to hire a lawyer. After that, you will get with Francis for your bond conditions. Don't consume alcohol, and above all else, do not drive. Do you understand? Heed this warning. You will not get another. Are you signing on to Ms. Silva?
Yes, Mr. Ralph Martinez is signing.
Great, okay.
He's putting on his tie.
Sorry?
On his tie outside, Ralph Martinez.
You want me to wait?
No, just want to let you know you're on.
Okay. We're about to do probable cause now, so you made it right in the nick of time. Okay, you ready?
Yes, Judge. On December 19th, 2024, the officer was working in an undercover capacity as part of proactive ICE investigation at Chicas Locas. While inside the club, the officer engaged in a conversation with the defendant. The defendant then gave the officer table dances and agreed to engage in deviant sexual intercourse or oral sex in exchange for a fee of $500 with a condom.
Ma'am, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I am ordering you not to engage in like-kind behavior, not to participate in this kind of environment. Do you understand? If I find that you do, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail. No more PR bonds, ma'am. All I'm asking you to do is don't work in these types of establishment and don't pick up a new case. You've got great lawyers. They will take care of you. You need to listen to them, and they will tell you when you have to come back to court. If they tell me they can't get a hold of you because you're playing games and you've flown, then I will issue a warrant for your arrest. You understand, man? Okay. I'm going to have you just sign a reset with Ramona right now. After that, we'll have you take a seat in the jury box. So we'll get your bond conditions. We'll have you sign it. And after that, you'll be free to go, man. Hi, Ralph.
Judge, how you tell?
All I did was just no engaging in like-kind behavior, and then that's it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah? Okay, guys, please.
Thank you.
Can you file that, please?
Yes, Judge.